Hello, I'm Teresa Young, a relationship master coach, and welcome to Real Relationship Talk. Platonic relationships. Now, can they truly exist whilst you have a romantic relationship? That is a very good question. And you may be thinking, hell no. There is no way my partner is going to have a platonic relationship whilst having a romantic relationship with me. And there are many people out there who feel exactly the same way. And I recently had a discussion with Juliet G because I am the resident relationship master coach for her monthly show, Spilling the Tea to Juliet G on Supreme FM. And we were having a conversation around platonic relationships and whether they can exist in a romantic relationship. And for the people that I work with and through experiences as well, I feel that they can, providing that there are clear expectations and healthy boundaries are set. So, firstly, let's have a look at what exactly is a platonic relationship. Well, it can be defined as a relationship where there is that sense of closeness to somebody. So, there is a strong emotional connection to that person and bond, but it is in a complete non romantic dynamic. There's no physical intimacy, there's no sexual intimacy, and it's often based on mutual interests, shared experiences, goals, vision. And it's not somebody that you are looking to build a life relationship with. You wouldn't call them your life partner. As opposed to a romantic connection, a romantic relationship, whereby you are striving to be in companionship with that person. You are building a life together, a future together. You have a long term vision, you've got plans, and you are saying that we are in a serious commitment to each other. Now, of course, in romantic relationships, it doesn't always involve sexual intimacy and it doesn't always involve physical intimacy too. There are many romantic relationships that don't have those components to it. However, it's the actual intention behind that relationship. We are building a life together. Whereas in a platonic relationship, it's more like a friendship. It's somebody that you spend time with. Now, you may be thinking, there's no benefits. If you're thinking, okay, yeah, so there's no way that a platonic relationship can fit into a romantic relationship, it's probably because you're looking at the disadvantages of having a platonic relationship. But you know what? Where focus goes, energy flows. So let's have a look at some of the benefits that can arise from having a platonic relationship. Now, think about it. Sometimes we say, or we feel that we have to do everything with our partner. They have to be everything, they have to do everything, and we have to do the same. We are just constantly pouring into each other, and there's no scope or there's no room for any other person. However, having that distance and having some personal space and allowing somebody to build up connections with other people can actually be really healthy. Because, firstly, it puts less pressure on the relationship in order to be everything for that person, too. Now, we have to be responsible in our relationships. I totally get that. I understand that. Equally, it can feel really pressured if you are expected to be everything to somebody. Give yourself that space. Allow somebody else to be able to help your partner too in that situation. So it can create less pressure on a relationship to have platonic relationships. Also, your partner can draw on somebody else for emotional support. Sometimes it's just nice to be able to have a discussion with somebody, even if you're going through relationship struggles, had an argument with somebody, that you can just voice to that person, say, oh, I'm going through this at the moment, and hear their thoughts, hear their perspective on it, and to be able to help you get through difficult times. Because sometimes when we are caught in the heaviness of a moment, we can become quite irrational and we can make impulsive, emotionally charged decisions. We don't want to make emotionally charged decisions. We don't want to react. We want to be able to respond. And by having somebody that you can go to in order to be able to respond in a healthy way with your partner, gives you that space. You can come back and it can help you to be more efficient at conflict management with your partner because you had that space, you've been able to gather your thoughts, you sounded it out to somebody who has listened to you, and then you can go back and you'll be able to manage that conflict situation and argument in a healthy way. So again, it's another source of emotional support for that person too. And like I said, they can actually hear somebody's different perspective too. Because when we are with our partners and in a love relationship, we can start to think the same way sometimes. And it's nice to be able to get fresh ideas, different perspectives from somebody else. It helps us to grow as people too. Also, when you have platonic relationships, there's that opportunity to have a diverse network of people, to be able to tap into different cultures, maybe different experiences. It can make for the conversation at home to have more variety, because we can have these conversations when we get home, maybe from work. How was your day been? Oh, it's been good. How have the kids been? Yeah, it's been good. What's on TV? What's for dinner? It can just be going round and round, just having these really dull, boring relationships. Of course, they can be transactional conversations, but we want more nourishment. And when you have a network of people, or diverse people, you can share about what somebody else is experiencing. So that's another benefit to be able to consider. And when we are having these conversations with other people, we are actually improving our communication skills and our social skills too, so that we can have healthier, stronger conversations with our partner. So overall, there is the opportunity for there to be an increased level of fulfillment and happiness when we are having platonic relationships, because we can bring it back to the relationship. Now, of course, you're thinking, yeah, benefits. Maybe you can see the benefits now and seeing how that can make improvements in your relationship and just nurture the relationship that you have. And equally, you're thinking, okay, but there are some downfalls, there are some cons, there are some disadvantages. And we can acknowledge those too in terms of what that might bring up for you. So there's certain things such as jealousy. Now, if you feel, for example, jealous that your partner has a platonic relationship, it's understanding more about where that jealousy has derived from. Has it derived from an attachment style, an insecurity that you may have? It may have nothing to do with your partner whatsoever, but you may have this jealousy that's showing up for you because of an insecurity. Could it be trust issues that you haven't healed from in the past? Could it be an attachment style that you have, such as being an anxious attachment style or an avoidant one? If you have an secured attachment style, you will be feeling probably more okay with a platonic relationship. Whereas if you've got an anxious attachment style where you have that neediness, that cleanness, that validation requirement, then really take time to explore that, because you may find that your partner is no different when they have a platonic relationship at all. But it's something within yourself that needs to be healed, that you need to grow from, that you need to learn from. So some inner work may need to be dealt with there. So that can be one of the downfalls, that it can provoke some emotionally charged feelings, maybe anger, frustration, bitterness, resentment, jealousy, those type of things that may be coming up for you. Really look within yourself to find out why it is you're feeling the way that you feel there too. Now, there is also the risk that sometimes it can turn into more. Of course, people can develop feelings for somebody that they are in a platonic relationship with. And from my experience and working with my clients, that often happens because they are in an unhappy relationship to get go with in the first place. So usually if it develops into something more, it's because there's some level of unfulfillment that they're feeling anyway. So there is that risk. It's all about setting those boundaries. However, if you start to develop feelings for somebody, it's maybe having a conversation with that person and know that you're developing feelings. And for example, you may need to pull back slightly, create some boundaries, or you just will be able to tap off from saying, okay, maybe this is infatuation, maybe this is a fantasy, maybe this is an attachment that I'm feeling. Really ask yourself why you are starting to develop feelings for that person. And there may be a case of that there's that physical attraction too. Again, it's all about boundaries. If the feeling is mutual between you guys, it's, are we going to create some boundaries around this? What is going to be our next best step for this? It's all about having conversations. So yes, there is the risk, I suppose, or the danger that emotional attachment and physical attraction can develop. Now, like I said, it's all about having those boundaries. It's all about saying, okay, so what are our limits? What will we do? What will I not do? Do I trust myself to be able to have a platonic relationship? Now, sometimes we say to ourselves, so when did the platonic relationship actually develop? Was this a platonic relationship that developed before the relationship started? And if so, what do I need to deal with? Why do I have issues with this platonic relationship? Is it a platonic relationship that developed whilst I was with that partner? Really seek to understand the reasons why you feel that is not working. And if you feel uncomfortable with it, have a conversation with your partner. Maybe their behavior changes whenever they see that person. Maybe it's a case that the way that they talk to you changes whenever they see that person. Then you can have a conversation to say, I would like to share something with you. Can I be quite vulnerable with you right now? I've noticed that when you see or you spend time with that person, or when you speak to this person, your body language seems to change. There's a distance between us. Whatever you're noticing, I've noticed it on 3 occasions actually. So that there's a history behind it. Like I've noticed it on 3 occasions that it's happened. Or can you share with me a bit more about it? Because I feel upset. I feel frustrated. I even feel a bit jealous. And I just want to be really open with you and share that with you and hear what your thoughts are on this. Have that conversation with your person. Now, I do believe that when we are able to understand whether we need to heal, whether there are any past traumas that are giving us feelings that we cannot have a coexisting relationship or platonic and romantic, we need to look within ourselves and understand more about it, because I've witnessed it happening very well for people. It may be a case that you actually just need to introduce the people to each other and to say, hey, this is that person, this is that person. Give them that reassurance that it's completely safe for both relationships to exist. So I'm interested. I'm curious. What are your thoughts on it? Have you had any experiences of having platonic relationships and it hasn't worked out? Or any experiences where it has worked out completely well, it's working for you? What has been your strategies? What boundaries have you put in place? Do let me know. Drop in the comment section below. And also, if you are going through a situation right now and you're thinking, Tarisha, I would really like you to help me because I'm experiencing some difficulties in having a platonic relationship and having a romantic relationship, and my partner's not understanding, reach out to me. We can have a discussion. You can find me across social media platforms as Tarisha Young, and you can also visit my website www.tarishayoung.com, and I can have a conversation with you and understand a bit more about your situation and if and how I can help you. Until the next relationship talk episode, you take great care of yourself and others too.